Green flag is up in the Old Dominion 500. Ricky Craven leads. Johnny Benson second. Kurt Busch third. Jimmy Johnson up to fourth. Ward Burton is fifth.
And here is where it gets tough, Benny. If you're back around 11th or 12th and you got to get by all these lap cars, you can lose a lot of time on the leader because Craven got a great start.
He certainly did, because he's starting on the outside. He jumped the guy on the inside. If you start in the 11th with 2 cars on the inside, that means you're basically starting 22nd. And by the time you weave your way through this traffic, Ricky Craven's going to say, see ya.
Still a lot of smoke coming on for Robbie Gordon's right front.
Robbie's the first car 1 lap down. He is in 29th place. Trying to get that lap back from Craven. 28 on the lead lap. Pit stop order shuffled up some. Ricky Rudd lost some ground. Tony Stewart lost some ground. Bobby Labonte gained some. Bobby's up to 7th. Stewart's back to 9th. Rudd back to 10th. He was 3rd when the caution came out.
Look at that smoke come off there, BP. Like 3/4 way through the corner of Robbie's car.
Look at all the marbles, too, up in that upper part of the racetrack now.
Just when it looked like Johnny Benson's car was starting to get a little bit better than Ricky Craven's, then the caution flag came out. Dave, what are they saying about the 32 car?
Well, one thing they're saying is that brake dust gets all over you. This is the front tire changer for Ricky Craven, and he is covered from head to toe in brake dust. But 2 ironies here. His sponsor is obviously a detergent that gets these things clean, but turn around for us here. His name is Jim Carbon, and the key material in brakes is carbon, in Jim's front tire changer and the brake specialist.
Very nice, Dave. Very nice.
Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed.
Dave discovers
carbon in the pits at Martinsville.
How about Kurt Busch? 97 car, 36th at the green flag to 3rd. By the way, NASCAR keeping an eye on that smoke from Robbie Gordon's car. They're having the inspector on pit road make sure the crew chief knows he's got the tire rub.
Yeah, it's on the right front. The pressures are down, so he's probably digging into him a little bit before the pressures get up.
Tony Stewart, points leader, currently in the 9th position. Jimmy Johnson's gained a few points because right now he's in 4th.
Mark Martin, 13th place. Ryan Newman, who started on the pole today, is in 12th. Jeff Gordon, the big loser in the championship again today, had a problem back at lap 250, got bumped into the wall by Jeff Burton. He's fallen 3 laps behind in 42nd place. Nobody's out of the race so far. As we check our Napa Field summary, everyone that started still running. Leading the most laps today, Ward Burton. He's been out in front for 145. Ricky Craven for 113. Rusty Wallace, Ryan Newman, Dave Blaney, Jeffrey Bodine, and Tony Stewart, the other guys who have paced this race so far. Obviously, 10 caution flags, all for fairly minor spins.
Ricky Rudd working good on the bottom again.
Those fresh tires seem to be getting some grip down there, trying to get by Tony Stewart in the 20 car.
That would be one of those things that, as Weber says, you don't have to look it up because we did.
Weber says that all the time.
Well, because he looks things up all the time.
He's got the answer book. I don't.
Here, and Dale Jarrett may have a tire rub too. Oh yeah, look at that.
Well, if it's not, it ought to be, as banged up as it is.
Looks like he gets it right when he hits the brakes.
And he's running good, 11th spot. Wasn't he one of the guys that got hooked up there with Stewart?
Stewart, yeah.
Yeah.
Then the sandwich. And it's smoking pretty good when he gets on the brakes.
Quiet day for 88 car, but I don't, he started in 15th place. I don't think he's ever fallen any farther back than that, but he hasn't really moved up and gained a lot of positions either.
Following his Yates teammate, Ricky Rudd. Both the Haviland car and the UPS car owned by Robert Yates. What kind of RPM? About 8,800 RPMs.
about fourth place?
Right front, nothing to worry about, I don't believe.
That was Dale Jarrett's radio you heard there. This is Jimmy Johnson on board. Dale Jr. trying to work him over for that fourth spot, and the car of Ken Schrader just in front of him. Second car, one lap down in 30th place.
I believe Johnson's going to be able to use that 36 as a pick and get by.
And Ward Burton right behind them in the 22 car joining the fray.
Well, I think the 22 car just shows you how important that track position is anymore in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, because the first half of the race he was untouchable. But whatever happened, he stayed out one time, and the next time when he pitted, some other cars stayed out. He got back in traffic, and he's been 250 laps trying to fight his way back to the front.
Now, Ward led 145 of the first 239 laps today, BP, but from the point that he gave up the lead on the pit stop at 239, that's it.
Yeah, and like we said, it gets harder and harder as cars go a lap down. It's more difficult on these restarts because you lose so much track position.
Look at that 18 car flying.
So he's only been 125 laps trying to get back to the front. I exaggerate the 250, but it has been a struggle for the 22 car. All right, a battle for second spot. Kurt Busch is there. Can he pull it off on the inside? Can he get that run off? So far, the answer is no.
Oh, he may get a little bit of a jump there. Looks like Johnny slid the nose a little bit. Dead even going in.
I'll tell you what, Kurt Busch is using some brakes right now, trying to get that position away. He can't do that long.
No, because he'll start sliding the car on the brakes.
Talked about the track grinding that was done on the lower lane at both ends of the speedway. Object to try and make both lanes equal. Races like this, we've seen them all day.
Tell you what, they're running side by side, but Craven's, well, now I think it's single file, but Craven wasn't getting away.
They were running faster. These two cars running side by side are actually running faster than Craven. Dave?
Well, Benny, one of the big concerns was about tire wear down here. Guys that had tested up here right after they grounded reported a lot of wear, but up and down pit road in my area today, there have been no issues, and the tire guys that I checked with said, nope, we haven't seen any. It might have been the rubber that they put down yesterday in the modified race, and again today, that has helped out. Bill, what do you know?
It's interesting that James Ince just told Johnny Benson, don't try any harder than you've already been trying today. They don't want him pushing the car. They want him to save the tires and the brakes for the end. A lot of these guys could go to the end on that last load of fuel if it stays green.
Well, if he's trying easier, he's going faster.
But he's running a completely different line than the 32 car of Craven. And we can see this outside line is really working for Johnny Benson in the 10 car.
Yeah, and I think what Bill was talking about, it's easy to overdrive this race class. When you're racing somebody here, you start running in deeper, you start driving the car harder. When you do that, you actually lose time.
For the lead.
He's there.
Benson trying to lead for the first time all day.
And he's doing it on the high side.
At Martinsville.
At Martinsville. Don't see that very often.
New leader, Johnny Benson. 127 laps to go.
Now just get a rhythm and take care of your stuff. Let your stuff cool off.
James Ince, the crew chief, on the radio to his driver.
Now, Craven has run the bottom all day long. Can he run the top?
No, but Busch is going to take a look. See if his car will work up there.
And that's got to be so tempting when a guy's running that high lane when you're behind him to just feel like you can fill up that inside lane and go. But if your car doesn't want to work down there, well, it goes from tempting to frustrating.
But Kurt Busch is making a very valiant attempt to try to get by Craven, and it looks like it might work. He's gaining an inch at a time.
Well, I think if he can keep Ricky pinned down there, yes, Penny, I think he can pull it off. Take that line away from Ricky where he can't drift up the racetrack.
He's got it now. Is Craven going to move up the racetrack and see if his car is as fast as those two? That's what I'm interested in.
Johnny Benson, the 8th different driver to lead the Old Dominion 500. Kurt Busch now up to 2nd. Championship leader Tony Stewart runs 10th. A little over 120 laps to go.